The 27 Club is a term coined in reference to the uncanny number of celebrities who have died at age 27. While it might seem like more stars have died at this age than expected, statistical data shows that celebs aren't actually any more likely to die 27, thus making the so-called 27 Club a bit of a myth. In fact, there have been more stars that died at age 28, but that fact doesn't matter much as the legend has gone on to take on a life of its own. Join Factsverse as we take a look back on some of the early members of this club you probably wouldn't want to be a member of. We'll be discussing 1960s celebrities who tragically joined the 27 Club. Jesse Belvin. American singer-songwriter and pianist Jesse Lorenzo Belvin was born December 15, 1932, in San Antonio, Texas. At age 5, his family moved to Los Angeles. In 1949, Belvin was a part of the opening act at the 5th Cavalcade of Jazz, playing with Big J McNeely and Lionel Hampton at Wrigley Field. The following year, he joined the band Three Dots and a Dash, featuring saxophonist Big J McNeely. In 1952, Belvin signed with Specialty Records. Although his early records weren't commercial successes, his fourth album entitled Dream Girl reached number 2 on the U.S. R&B Billboard chart in 1953. That same year, Belvin was drafted into the Army, but he continued to pen songs while serving his country. One of these songs was Earth Angel, which after a legal dispute was recorded by the Penguins and became one of the first R&B tracks to cross over to the pop charts. Between 1954 and 55, the song sold over 1 million records. Ultimately, Belvin was awarded 1/3 credit for the song, and due to its success, his career exploded. While he could have easily made millions off of his music, he would often write songs and sell them to other singers for as little as $100. Because of this, perhaps even hundreds of songs written by Belvin ended up hitting the airwaves, very few of which he ever received credit for. After signing with Modern Records in 1956, Belvin cut what would be his most enduringly popular recording, Good Night My Love. The track reached number 7 on the R&B charts that year. 2 years later, the Shields released a version of the song that reached 15 on the pop charts. Over the next couple of years, Belvin's career skyrocketed with the help of his wife, Joanne, who was a fantastic songwriter in her own right. She took over as Belvin's manager and guided his career towards success. After signing with RCA, Belvin put out his first big success with the label in 1959 with the top 40 hit single, Guess Who? It was clear at that point that Belvin had the potential to be the next Billy Eckstine or Nat King Cole. With Joanne taking the reins, Belvin was finally stepping into his element. In late 1959, Belvin went into the studio and recorded a dozen songs, including covers of standards like Makin' Whoopee, Blues in the Night, and In the Still of the Night. Sadly, he never got a chance to hear the finished recordings, because on February 6, 1960, not long after playing a show in Little Rock, Arkansas, with Sam Cooke, Merv Johnson, and Jackie Wilson, Belvin and his wife were killed in a tragic head-on auto accident. Rudy Lewis. This R&B singer, born Charles Rudolph Hale on August 23, 1936 in Philly, was best known for his work in the Drifters. When he was 24, Lewis moved to New York City and joined the musical group that ultimately turned him into a legend. According to sources close to him, Lewis was hopelessly addicted to heroin, suffered from a binge-eating disorder, and was a closeted homosexual. He managed to keep these secrets from the public, but they were clearly things that troubled him deeply. On May 21, 1964, when the Drifters were expected in the studio to record the song Under the Boardwalk, which Lewis had written, he was found dead in his Harlem hotel room. Johnny Moore, who previously served as the group's lead vocalist, was brought back in to provide lead vocals for the song. The following day, the group recorded the song I Don't Want to Go On Without You as a tribute to their fallen friend. Although no autopsy was performed, Lewis's death was ruled as a likely drug overdose. Those close to him, however, believe he died of a combination of overdose, heart attack, and asphyxiation. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to Factsverse if you haven't already. And stick around for more 1960s 27 Club members. Joe Henderson. This R&B and gospel singer was best known for his 1962 song, Snap Your Fingers. Henderson was born in 1932 in Como, Mississippi, and raised in Gary, Indiana. His musical career started with him performing gospel music before signing with Todd Records in 1958. In 1962, he recorded Snap Your Fingers, which was the biggest hit of his career. The track not only performed well on the R&B charts, but also the pop charts. He charted 3 more times over the next 2 years with the songs Big Love, The Search Is Over, and You Take One Step, I'll Take Two. Henderson died of a heart attack in his Nashville, Tennessee apartment on October 25, 1964. Malcolm Hale. Born in Butte, Montana on May 17, 1941, Hale was an original member and lead guitarist for the female-fronted rock group Spanky and Our Gang. He performed with the band for their first 2 albums. On October 31, 1968, Hale was found dead in his Chicago home. It was later reported his death was attributed to an attack of bronchial pneumonia. His death was a major blow to the band and led to their breakup a year later. Dickie Pride. This rock and roll singer had a stage name that apparently reflected his real-life persona. Pride was born Richard Kneller in Surrey, England on October 21, 1941. When he was young, he considered becoming an opera singer, but instead took an interest in skiffle, a type of folk music with blues and jazz elements that was popular in the 50s. Later, he fell in love with rock and roll. He played his first concert as Dickie Pride at age 16, after he was discovered by composer Russ Conway and producer Larry Parnes. In 1959, he put out his debut single Slippin' and Slidin', a cover of a Little Richard track. Pride then performed alongside fellow Larry Parnes pop prodigies Marty Wilde, Terry Dean, Johnny Gentle, Duffy Power, and Billy Ferdy in The Big Beat Show. Pride only ever had one hit, a song called Primrose Lane, which made the top 30. His other tracks failed to perform, and it didn't take long before Parnes dropped him. Pride soon found himself struggling with drug addiction, mental illness, and legal troubles. After a failed marriage, Pride checked himself into a psychiatric clinic and was lobotomized. At first, it seemed as if the procedure was a success, but Pride soon fell back into drugs. On March 26, 1969, Pride's sister found him dead lying in his bed. It was later determined he had accidentally overdosed on sleeping pills. Brian Jones. This musician was one of the founding members of the Rolling Stones. He was a talented multi-instrumentalist who was said to be able to pick up just about any instrument and play it adeptly. His musical gifts can be heard on Stones albums like Aftermatch, Their Satanic Majesty's Request, and Between the Buttons. Jones was born in Cheltenham, England. When he was young, he excelled in school, especially in music, where he played clarinet for his school's orchestra. In his teen years, he began to rebel. He hated conformity and the strictness of school life. He developed a love for blues and jazz around this time, which introduced a new unexplored world to him. At 17, he picked up his first acoustic guitar. He spent the next few years living life as a nomadic vagrant busker, playing music on the city streets. In the early 60s, he moved to London, where he helped form the Rolling Stones. He even came up with the band's name, drawing inspiration from a Muddy Waters song. Over time, however, Jones became estranged from his bandmates. The outfit's manager, Andrew Loog Oldham, wanted Mick Jagger to be the face of the band and for them to write original money-making material. Brian wanted the Stones to continue playing blues. After getting arrested a couple times for weed possession, he started giving the band trouble. Things got worse when the Stones toured America in 1969. Since he wasn't able to make the tour, he had already been practically outcasted from the group. He was fired in June of that year. Less than a month later, he was found dead in his swimming pool of an apparent accidental drowning on July 3, 1969. Can you think of any other members of the 27 Club from the 1960s? Let us know in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to Facts First if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.